Okay, I'm going to go through the load up sequence for my 2017 Toyota Tundra SR5 double cab 4x2, 5.7 liter V8, 6-foot bed. Here's how we are. So the trailer, 2022 Rockwood Mini Light 2509S. There's the specs. The dry weight of the trailer is 27 kilograms, which is 5,571 pounds dry. And we run anywhere from 6,100 pounds to 6,400 pounds, depending on what we take, fully loaded. So that just gives you an idea of where we started. So I'm going to go ahead and take the load off the hitch, and let's go ahead and just measure the rake, just so we have it as a reference. All right, so the truck is no longer under any load, and it's empty. So let's go take a look at our wheel well measurements, just for giggles. So no load. The front is 36 3/4 inches on center, and the rear is about 38 3/4. So the rake on this truck, unloaded, 2 inches higher in the back than in the front. So now let's put the load back on and let's remeasure with no weight distribution hitch. All right, so as you can see, we are under full load. So let's remeasure. So it looks like we're just about 37 1/4 in the front. And we're about 36 1/8 in the back. Visually from back here, almost no sag whatsoever. The rake is gone, which is normal. That's what the rake's there for, to take on the payload. The trailer with the tongue fully loaded with no distribution hitch. The truck is pretty level. A little less, there's a little bit of sag in the back, but again, no weight distribution hitch yet. So let's go over the numbers. All right, so here's our numbers. Under no load, the front fender well is 36 3/4 inches from the ground. The rear is 38 3/4. So it's 2 inches higher in the rear. So it's got a +2 inch rake in the back. And under load with no weight distribution hitch, the front is 37 1/4. The rear is 37 1/8, meaning that the rear is now 1 1/8 inches lower than the front. So we have a negative rake of 1 1/8 inches. So if you take the 2 inch rake and the 1 1/8 inch negative rake after load, you basically are 3 1/8 inches lower in the back under trailer load than when you were not. And also the front is now 1 1/8 inches higher than the rear with no weight distribution hitch. So the weight distribution hitch should take care of that. Okay, so now let's load the cargo. Propane fire pit, a box of supplies like a fan, my drill, butane burner, and a couple of little things. On this trip, we're taking the propane grill, 2 really comfortable chairs, and the dog run. On the inside, we have our white birch carpet covered, I call it the doggy princess throne. She gets to ride up here shotgun with us. A couple of down jackets, the 2 passengers, and the backup rear camera, which weighs about 0.4 pounds. On the driver's side, we've got side storage here. That gives you access to this whole storage area over the 2 rear axles. So what I like to do is put all the heavy stuff back in here. I've got my cable, my power cable, and I'm going to load in my my blocks, chocks. So I'll put in my 2 military grade heavy rubber chocks back in here. Just sit over that axle also. The toolbox and tray gets slid over above the axle. And my chalk leveling block kit also. So all that weight sits over the axles. I almost forgot my compression chalk. I'll give you a quick overview of where we store things in the trailer. So most of the heavy things go here in this half of the dinette, which sits over the trailer. There's also, where you saw me load those chocks is right below here. There's also space here, so this cushion can come up. And there's a little bit more storage space, but the drawer gets in the way, so it's pretty much used up. This gets moved over there because it's lightweight. And over here goes camera bags, telescope, my computer and tablet bag. The heavy stuff goes here. And then back here in the bunkhouse, just really light stuff. Down blankets, pillows, stuff like that. And then we got our toilet roll down there in the netted area as well. So that's a little bit of weight in the back, but not much. But most of the heavy stuff goes here. And in this front storage, all we have is underneath there is some, I'll show you real quick, carpet on the left. And that white container is carpet. And over here on the right is another container that's got paper supplies and other things. So we try to keep everything heavy out of this front storage, and it goes into that side storage with my toolbox. So now that we're loaded, I'm going to remeasure the wheel wells just for fun, but I also want to show you my payload sticker. I've got, where's it? There it is. 1550, and this is my other sticker. So let's remeasure those wheel wells and see if the cargo made any difference. 37 1/8 in the front, and 36 1/8 in the back. 36 1/4, sorry. So with cargo loaded, no passengers. Load only before cargo, 37 1/4, 36 1/8. I think that was also 36 1/4. And after loading cargo, 36 1/4, 36 1/4. So I think this was a quarter. I just didn't write it down right, but so there's no change. Not enough cargo to make a difference. One other note, I have a full propane tank, 30 pound here. This one is some propane, but mostly empty. I typically only travel with one full one. I don't need it for a 3-day trip. So shouldn't be a big deal. So as of right now, we have a 1-inch difference between the front and rear. The front is 1 inch higher than the rear, which means we've consumed 3 inches or taken 3 inches off the back rake-wise. So it was 3 inches higher than it was right now. And we still have no weight distribution hitch. So in the morning, I'm going to weight distribution hitch this up and we'll remeasure. And that should give us our final measurements with regards to just how level it sits and how much sag's left, if any.